Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 68. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, how have you been, sir?
Good. I had all sorts of cluster issues before the stream, which is ironic because you were telling me before you had issues. I decided I was going to switch my mic around. I turned it to where it was going to be up, down, below again. I actually had it where I liked it, but I couldn't. The arm kept going up, and so I kept tightening it. I stripped the screw. It's a miracle. It's up where it's at. Like I thought, oh god, well maybe if I mean it's starting to fall apart, dude, and now I don't want to touch it. So the main reason I'm telling this story is if this thing falls or something, don't I mean, I'm expecting it, but it looks secure. So
It looks like we may be having to dip into our Patreon funds for the first time ever to buy some duct tape, huh?
yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, because I was just looking at mic boom arms or whatever, the ones that are stands that can like a little bit of versatility, but I don't know. It's been a while. I guess I've had this for a year, so it was ready to break, and you can't keep twisting plastic screws and expect them not to, or plastic parts and not expect them to break.
Right. They just don't make them like they used to, huh?
Yeah, no, unfortunately.
Now, my issues are of a totally different variety. I have time management issues. I came home from work last night and sit down to start writing up the show as I always do, and I get the outline banged out, and then I noticed that John Riggs, the fairly popular retro gamer on YouTube, is streaming The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners,
Hmm.
and I click over on his stream, and it's like late, right, 2 a.m. plus later even, and nobody's watching his stream, and he is stuck. And I start chatting with him, and he asked me to give him some guidance. So I spend probably an hour there, telling him where to go, what to do, being the VR ambassador that I am and the good Samaritan. I help the guy out, get him through some stuff, and then I get back to work on the show, and I get through banging out the first topic, which there's a lot of info if you didn't notice on the first topic, and then I go chin the chest, and I stay like this for I don't know 4 hours.
Hmm.
Basically, I've been in this chair pretty much since I've been home from work. I woke up this morning sitting right here, banged out the rest of the show, went on the YouTube, put up the show page, and then went to clean up and clean
Hmm.
myself up, and then here we are. But a hectic morning to say the least.
How classic is that? That's like old school Wes, where you like fall asleep editing or whatever. That's pretty cool that you stumbled on that stream. Actually, and I needed I know Radio Run he's gonna kill me, but I still haven't got the Audica maps and for the custom stuff. And so I decided to stream myself a little bit some Audica the other night, and some people stopped in and they were like people that make some maps, and so um they were telling me that I'm pure, like I'm still pure because I haven't. I guess I don't know. Their maps may corrupt me or something. But it was very odd, but it was really cool too because I was getting ready to turn off the stream because I'd done some Sea of Thieves and something else and some Audica, or maybe it was Into the Radius, I think. And then I just said, okay, I'm getting off. I switched to my little Roots dancing guy. It's streams ended, and then I see a raid comes in from another streamer and they're like, "Oh, talk about horrible timing." And then that's why I switched back, and I was like, "Hey, I'm still here." And then I did a couple more songs, and those were those people that came in. So it was really cool. And I just wanted to remind everybody I am streaming a lot more. Just stop by. The link is in the description, and we have a lot of fun. So
Yeah, man, I've noticed that Roots has been going 2 and 3 times a day on the Twitch streams. Heavy VR sometimes, sometimes not. But most of the time that he goes live, he announces it in the Discord. So if you haven't already joined our Discord community,
oh hell yeah,
there's an invitation in the description. It's one of the very first things down there. Um, please do. We're talking VR all day long, talking other stuff too, not VR, but mostly VR, and it's a good time.
yeah. Yeah, Jim Hall says Roots rebates. Yeah, he wants me to. We decided we're going to incentivize people to join our crew. Overg's Spry guy. Like if you buy the game on Steam, we will. Each of us are going to split. We're going to pay $30 back if you have to put 25 levels into 3 different categories with us, and then you'll get the Roots rebate, and you'll pay $10 for a $40 game. Jim will pay 30 for one. I'll pay for the other. And
Damn.
yeah, so why not? But we got to get a 4-man crew in there, dude, because we're we're like right at the cusp of being able to do some really cool stuff. But like we come up against a 4-man crew with 2 people, you know, they have 3 cannons on one side, Wes. They could be shooting 3 cannons to our 1, and then we're screwed. So.
Well, I noticed that Skiva was in there poking around looking for some multiplayer action last night. Maybe he's somebody you could convince.
Yeah, what's ironic about Skiva is he said he has it. I think he tried it when he bought it when it first came out or something, or he's got it on Xbox. So yeah, Skiva, get your butt in there. Let's do some Sea of Thieves.
Shout out Skiva, by the way. They just started their 2nd season of their VR podcast. What's it called? Between Realities? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, dude, and they've actually been, and he's inspiring me again, Wes, because we never did it, and maybe that's where some of the Patreon could go as well. We never they're sprucing their thing up. They're buying like backgrounds and from Fiverr or like intros and just all sorts of stuff. You know, we talked about it, but we never did it. So.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately as well. I think we're getting right around the time that we could really use a nice polish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have talked to a couple of people and gotten some recommendations on people who we could solicit for this kind of work. You know how it is. It's just doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it real good.
I agree. We need to. But shout out Skiva. You know, Alex, his co-host Alex reached out to me the other day, and I don't know if they've mentioned any of this to you or not, but they mentioned us maybe coming on and doing a guest spot on their show later this year, sometime October or something, September.
Cool. No, I haven't heard it yet, but I see Skiva on our show. The other one, Dark Frequencies, every 2 weeks. So yeah, I'd be interested in that for sure. Gamertag just stopped by the way.
Oh, hey, what's up, GT? Looks like we've got a few. Jim Hall, what's up, buddy? Meow Meow, the Gamer Cat, rather, excited for the show today. And he says it hurts to wake up chin to chest. Buddy, don't I know it? I couldn't hardly turn my head when I woke up this morning. Like I had to take a good 5 or 10 minutes to work it out, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, that's one of the worst feelings in the world, especially when I just can't stand it. Especially if I can't turn my head, I want to turn it, and then I'm going to keep forcing it, and it just makes it worse. And yeah, it sucks. So you took one for the team. I appreciate it.
No problem. It's what I do. Jarillo and Slayblaze, thanks for showing up, guys. Derail. Whoa, what's up, buddy? Derail making a rare live appearance to the Virtual Stranger Show. I guess we need to get into it. We are starting a little bit later today, and I do have a hard out, so I'm going to. I guess we'll probably try to move through the latter topics a little bit faster. Alex VR just joining the chat. I guess his ears must have been itching. We were just talking about you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into it. I wanted to start off today by talking a little bit more about The Walking Dead Onslaught. You know, we've talked about The Walking Dead Onslaught quite a bit in recent weeks, but over the past week, VentureBeat released a great interview that gave us a lot of new details about the game, or stuff at least that I didn't know, and I feel that I'm pretty well informed on stuff. But anyway, VentureBeat recently spoke with Servio senior game designer Andrew. Let's see, I don't want to butcher his name. Abadian, about the game and its progress in development. As we all know, the game is going to be a single player title with a longer than planned campaign and hub world where players can move around open world style. players are going to be tasked with rebuilding Alexandria, restoring society, and preparing for an onslaught of walkers. So, Roots, reading through this article, the headline coming out of it over the last couple of weeks has been the loss of co-op. And, a lot of people talking about how they're concentrating more on the story mode. They want to make it more like an episode of the television show. But people have failed to elaborate much more than that. But reading through this interview, they talk a little bit more about the structure of the game, and it's becoming increasingly obvious why it's been delayed so long. They've almost completely rebuilt this game from what it was a year ago.
Yeah. Well, and I said it last time we were talking about this. I actually had a different reaction than almost everybody else that I see. I got excited about it. I mean, yeah, I want to do it co-op, but just the way they talked about it in the last interview, and just how they were going to focus on making you feel like you were in the episode, and that coupled with the fact of Westworld and the way it was, and this is coming after they did Westworld, so they've learned even more stuff. And the game looked phenomenal to begin with, and so now they're revamping it and completely tweaking it, and they're bringing in Daryl, and they're making it like right in the middle of seasons in a time that was kind of controversial. And I don't know, I think I believe it's going to be like next level. Do I want co-op? Yeah, but I think Saints and Sinners is going to fill that void pretty well, and I'm looking forward to that as well. But I think this is going to be hands down probably even better story wise than the other one, but only time will tell.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was initially bummed out at the loss of co-op. I felt like Saints and Sinners did story mode pretty well, and I was looking forward to an arcade style co-op game coming from Servios. But with that said, the one thing that I was looking forward to the most, which is the combat mechanics, that is pretty much the one thing that they have retained from the original version. They have completely restructured the game and made it into a different game, but they have retained that progressive dismemberment style of offense and that arcade style gameplay. This game is going to be much more fast paced than Saints and Sinners. And even though it's based on story mode, from what they're saying here, it really is going to play like an episode of the television show. And, more so than the comic book, I'm a Walking Dead television show fanatic. I absolutely love it. I still watch every episode. And the prospect of being able to enter the show in quite a literal fashion is more exciting to me than the prospect of co-op. And like you said, I have faith that Skydance and the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners are going to fully take advantage of this, and they're going to give us the co-op that everybody wants anyway.
Yeah. So we're going to get the best of both worlds, and I just think this is going to be hands down a better game than it would have been the original plan. And I think what you said before, that AMC put some pressure on them, and was like, no, we need to up the game. After they saw Saints and Sinners, they were just like, what the hell, man, this is really good. And I think we're not going to be disappointed with this. And I think, remember what back in the day when Alex and Mamefan were on the show, and we talked, or maybe it was just Alex at that point, but we were talking about The Walking Dead, and we talked about missions to go out and get supplies, and how we hoped they had that, and just some of the things that we talked about in that conversation is exactly what they're giving in this. And I just think the prospect of being in that Alexandria, is it Alexandria? It's been so long since I've
Yeah,
Alexandria,
that's right.
Being in that atmosphere is going to be crazy. Looking around and feeling like you're in that town, and being Rick or Daryl and talking to Rick, or is it vice versa? Or you're Rick talking to Daryl, right? At the campfires and stuff.
Well, we'll get into that. I've actually I've taken quite a bit of that interview, kind of edited it down a little bit to touch on a few different points about the game, some of the new information I gleaned from it. Full credit to VentureBeat for publishing this article. I actually found it through Upload VR. They actually reposted it on their website, so credit to them as well. But I've narrowed it down a little bit to talk about a few things that I found interesting. And you know what time it is, Roots?
Quote time.
It is quote time. It is the most epic quote time of all time because I probably have what, 7, 8, maybe 10 quotes here
Wow.
right in a row. Basically, the rest of this segment is going to be based off of quotes. But let's dive in here. It says quote, and by the way, once again, this is Andrew Avidian, who is the senior game designer behind this game. He says, our game falls between seasons 8 and 9 of the show. It's right after the war with the Saviors. We've been working directly with AMC's producers, writers, and acting talent like Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride to make sure we're hitting the brand directly. So right here, right off the top, Roots, we're learning that it's not just Norman Reedus who's lending his voice to this game, but Melissa McBride is as well. And for those of you who don't know, Melissa McBride is the actress who portrays Carol on the show.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they say anything about her making cookies or? No.
Well, I mean, if it's the Carol that we all know and love, and she has someone who she needs to deceive, I'm sure she's going to put on her nice little Carol smile and serve them all cookies.
Yeah, that's true. She did go on a rampage not too shortly after that, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's what she does. She makes everyone think she's harmless, and then she's the one that sneaks up from behind and slits everybody's throat.
Yeah, and starts fires.
Right.
Hmm.
Quote, we have a game that's about a conflict between Rick and Daryl where the player shifts perspectives between the two. Rick represents almost half of the game, which has this whole scavenger portion where the player can go out on supply runs. The other half of the game is played through Daryl's eyes. It's effectively a campaign that goes chapter by chapter. Starts with Rick and Daryl kind of having a conversation around the campfire. They have a philosophical difference in the way that they want to treat the group. They fight over their philosophy, and basically, you jump into the campaign as Daryl to find out what happened to him that led to this big conflict. So we learn here, Roots, that it's not just all revolving around Daryl. You literally play half the game as Rick. And that's exciting to me as a fan because, as everyone knows, at the beginning of season 9, Rick splits, right? He's not on the show anymore. And we all miss Rick, right? So having the chance to play in this AMC uh, canon story that took place during Rick's final days, I mean, this is like a dream for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Now you got Carol and Daryl, right? So there's no Rick. Who's doing Rick's voice?
They did not mention that Andrew Lincoln had worked on the game at all. They did name a few other voice actors who I weren't familiar with, but knowing Servios, I got to imagine that they're going to work around that quite well.
Yeah, well, I will submit this, and I'm not saying, thus saith Roots. But when the game was first announced, up until a few months ago, there was no Norman Reedus. This is the first time now we're hearing Carol. There is a possibility that you'll have Rick and Michonne as well. And I'm not, like I said, I it's a good possibility not as well. But, like maybe they just keep announcing and making it hyping, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I imagine there'll be something like when you're playing Rick, playing the role of Rick, and you're interacting with the other characters. I'd say it'll be like a lot of these games where you have text, dialogue choices that you choose from, and then then the character Daryl or whoever you're talking to actually speaks back to you. Now, again, this is just my speculation. I have no confirmation of that, but that's just one example of how they could work around not having the entire cast of the show to do voices.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there's a lot of different options.
Quote, we're given the wiggle room to create our own story within the larger story. It is writer approved. We're working with AMC. It's almost stitching between season 8 and season 9, where there's a big time jump. Characters reference the Saviors, and the events of the previous season. So what they're talking about here is at the end of season 8, Rick defeats Negan, slits his throat, and if you'll remember, the Saviors are defeated. They're all standing there with their hands up, getting ready to become prisoners. And then Rick says, "Everybody put your hands down. We're done fighting. Negan is
Mm.
beaten but alive. Everybody go home. We have to live together. And if you don't subscribe to this, then we're gonna either kill you or imprison you as well." So Rick takes this collectivist turn in his philosophy due to Carl. Carl's dying wishes were for everyone to just get along. And this is the source of the conflict between Daryl and Rick. Daryl just wants to kill them all, screw them.
Mm.
Rick wants to let them live, and not only let them live, but let them go free and try to be friends with them after they just went to war. But anyway, after Rick gives this speech, the season ends, and we come back in season 9, and some time has passed, and there is this conflict between Daryl and Rick. Apparently, what this game is going to do is going to tell at least some of the story in that time jump,
Mm.
and that's pretty awesome because I mean there was like I don't know 3 to 6 months there in between seasons that we really didn't get any story. So now it's awesome that we're going to be able to know what happened during that time period.
Yeah, well, yes, F Frank, spoiler alert, Carl. It's ironic. Speaking of Carl, a little side thing. He just wanted everybody to get along, yet he's the one that stole the big can of chocolate pudding and went up on the roof and hoarded it for himself. So that's not good for getting along. But no, it's everything that you're saying so far makes me really excited for this game. The fact that it's got this assault rifle, and then somebody was mentioning it in the I think it was Ray Delatorre, somebody about how bloody this is. And I mean that's the difference here, man. You're watching him like it looked like he was smashing Glenn or something. Blood was flying everywhere off of Lucille there. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they talk about in just a little bit about how their game is different than other games that have come before it. That, like I said, the one thing that they did preserve is that brutal, visceral combat that they have built the gamer around from day one. But when it comes to the the change in structure to the game, they also discuss that. Uh, Quote, you go back and forth between campaign chapters and scavenger runs. For the scavenger run aspect, it's a big map that has regions that open up as you play. You open up a new region and you have new options for the scavenger runs. You unlock a new chapter, so you go to that. You go back and forth, back and forth. So you get that variety. They're very stitched together. Now, Roots, they're claiming that their game is different than Saints and Sinners, but it sounds a lot from this quote. Going back and forth between scavenger runs and story runs. I mean, that's what we did in Saints and Sinners, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends on what part's different. I mean, because that was one of the things I didn't, or I guess I don't want to. I was hoping Saints and Sinners had more of, or that I get a little bummed out when I'm killing stuff. Like sometimes you just want to take an arm off, or the leg, or just the knee down below the knee. Watch them hobble around. I mean, this is going to be fun, dude. I want to chop a hand off, and maybe you can even get their ear. I mean, you could. I mean, look, there's his leg and his foot. Like, if there's no limit, I think you're gonna see some hacking and slashing that you didn't get to see in Saints and Sinners. So from that aspect, it's definitely going to be different. But story wise, yeah, it sounds very similar. But what we saw in Westworld, like I said, I still have yet to. I didn't even know what the show was, and I was like, it made me watch Westworld. It was so good, and then I finished the game, and they just really have a good pulse on that, making you feel like you're in that atmosphere. So, and I'm like you, this is one of my favorite TV shows up until the last couple seasons. But being in that world is going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be cool for a number of reasons. One, like we've been talking about, uh, they did a bang up job on Westworld. It very much seemed like a Westworld episode. And as big of a fan as I am of Westworld, it's nothing compared to The Walking Dead for me. So to be in this episode, this is literally my favorite television show, bar none. This is my favorite. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I religiously watch The Walking Dead. Um, that said, the well, they were asked directly, quote, "Do you feel it differs from The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners?" And this is how they responded to that. We all played it on the team and we all loved it. They did a great job. We are going in a different direction. They have a slower emphasis. You don't fight that many walkers at once. It's about the world, very much an RPG feel. For us, it's an action feel. You're being plunged into a Walking Dead episodes and you have those characters to interact with. The combat is radically different because you're fighting so many more walkers at a time. We have this entire brutal combat freedom where you can stab walkers, slice walkers, punch walkers, bash walkers. All of this is a lot less guided and a
Mm.
lot more free form. When you hit a walker, you can hit them in various locations. They'll stumble back into the other walkers and knock them down. It's a constant crowd control feel. A player can get overwhelmed if they're surrounded by 10 or more, and we ramp up those numbers significantly as the game goes on. It's something we've been trying to hit from a technical perspective, having up to 30 walkers on the screen. Now, Roots, from the time even before Saints and Sinners came out, your number one thing that you wanted out of either of these games is that hectic feeling of a herd descending on you and having to deal with that in real time, making snap decisions, just trying to scrape out and survive. We didn't so much get that until the Meat Grinder update from Saints and Sinners. But it looks like this thing that you wanted so badly is exactly what this game is being built around from an action perspective.
Yeah, because that's like the whole atmosphere of the show, right? Is like one walker is you don't want to mess with it. And, they had that whole dilemma, like, it's just one walker. Well, things can happen, and you're putting everything as a risk, right? Even that one. I think that's how Carl died, is just rescuing or stepping in for that one dude, right? And then got bit. If he had just let him do his own thing, he would have not died. But when you put 30 in there, or 10 or 20, it's going to get exponentially ridiculous and crazy, and it's gonna change things. I'm assuming that one of the big things about differences as well is like there's no crafting, but that means there's no breaking, and you're not, your weapon is your weapon, and you're probably gonna go through and just start tearing shit up and not having to worry about, oh, my knife broke, or do you have to worry about that?
There is, I mean, no, the weapons aren't going to give out on you, but there is some system of progression. You're basically the object of your scavenger runs is to get supplies. Supplies not only to build up Alexandria, you literally have to build up the colony, the buildings, everything, the food stockpiles, all of that. You also progress your weapons with the things that you find. So it's not just that you find a weapon and use it and you're done with it, but you are able to modify them somewhat. Now, with that said, there's a lot less emphasis on the style of gameplay. It's a lot less RPG-like than Saints and Sinners, and your weapons aren't going to break on you, but you are going to be able to progress them, and there are some aspects. It's just not nearly as grindy as the Saints and Sinners game.
Yeah, well, that's cool. They're both good in different ways. Like there's a time when I just want to have my weapon and go through and just tear zombies up and not have to worry about it breaking. And then there's other times I want to craft a bunch of different weapons and tear them up different way, So we're getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you'll have custom loadouts and all that. And the way that you're going to love how the scavenger runs are set up. So they have these big maps that even expand as the game goes on. And you unlock new areas, new places to visit, new sets, if you will. But the whole structure of the scavenger campaign is, I mean, the whole time basically you're outside the walls of Alexandria, there are walkers after you. There's a growing herd pushing you through the map. So
Mm.
you have to stay ahead of them, right? And you'll come upon, buildings that you can scavenge. And it's a whole, you know, debate with yourself whether or not you should stop and maybe access an area that's going to take some time to get into. It's a risk reward scenario, right? But this whole time you've got the herd coming after you, and sometimes you're going to want to just move on, and there's other times you're going to want to stop. Sometimes you're going to get you know, stopped and caught where you're at, and have to hole up and wait it out. And this is one of the things that I really didn't like about Saints and Sinners is after the bells toll and the walkers come out, they won't allow you to hole up in a building and wait them out. Like if you're still in town when the bells toll, then you're pretty much screwed. I mean, you're not going to make it back to your boat, or if you do, it's going to take some work. Whereas if it were really like The Walking Dead comic or television show, you'd be able to, board yourself up into one of these houses and stay the night there, right?
Yeah, well, my problem, Wes, is I can already tell you I would hole up in there and I'd be screwed because I'd be like, Wes is coming any second because I forgot that there's no co-op and then I'm waiting for you. You never show up and Roots just dies in there. Just dies of hunger probably. But no, I think there's so many weapons in this that don't exist in the other game, and then of course a lot of the ones like this that do. I think it's just going to be amazing. And like I was saying to somebody in the chat, this is an early build for this video, so I can't wait to see footage of new stuff. Now we saw because we're signed up for the Discord in the in our in yours and my chat, right? And those new screenshots looked amazing, right?
Yeah, they were very familiar. I've seen these places, these vehicles, these people. I've seen them all on the show. So it was amazing to look at these pieces of concept art and imagine what it's going to be like from the inside the headset. You don't have to retract your message, Real. I'm fully aware that we have a delay on our audio. There's a little bit of lag in the audio, and it's an odd thing because we can actually account for that in the OBS settings, but whenever we go to fix it, then we don't need it. It's a thing that comes and goes. So we can go and put like a delay on the audio or a delay on the video to sync it up. But as soon as we do that, we're not going to need to anymore, and it's just going to go out of sync again. So it's an interesting problem. I don't know quite how to solve it.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
Right. But quote, we had this entire progressive dismemberment system that's expanded significantly, making sure that we're providing a lot of variety toward combat, a lot of hit reacts, different ways to move the walkers around, push them around. You can choke them with one hand and punch them into other walkers. It's a very physical style of interacting with an enemy type. So again, Roots, just more confirmation that at least from an action perspective, this is going to be the type of gameplay that you've been wanting.
Yeah, and you just said something I didn't even think about, like in the other game. It doesn't exist. Actually, doesn't happen in almost every game, and it's kind of not realistic in a sense. You said you could punch them into other walkers, and to me, like I don't care if it's a walker or it's some alien being from Vertigo, remastered or whatever it is. I can hit it with my hand. Maybe it doesn't do much damage, but that is a reality. And the fact that there isn't it the Creed, the way the Creed collision models or whatever for the fighting, that's what they're using for this. And so I think it's going to be next level. It may even be some kind of a new type of way for this. You know what I mean? Like some revolutionary way of doing it to where they all interact. And I think it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah, they basically have stated that they're taking something from every title that they've previously done. Their whole team has pretty much worked on this in some capacity over the last 2 years. They said that they've had up to 50 people at a time working on this game, and that's pretty huge. That's like bordering AAA level, you know, scale when it comes to workforce.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the Servios is getting to that level, and The Walking Dead, especially, is a brand that deserves a AAA feel to it. So that's what we're gonna get. And Skiva's ears were burning from he's just joined the chat as well.
Hey, what's up, Skiva? Roy Schwartz in the chat. What's up, buddy? Yeah, we were talking about you a little bit earlier, Skiva. Roots needs a partner. He needs someone to sail the open seas with him.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. And well, he said, well, why don't you check Skiva? He's looking for multiplayer last night. And I said, hey, Skiva said he's got the game, Sea of Thieves. He said he's only limited in time. So that's what I was told.
Or he could be like me and just says, you know what, I don't have time for flat. I got enough VR to play.
I got time for Pirates, and that's the best game I've played in a while. I don't know, man. It's the fun of it. It's the people you play with as well. So.
Oh, by the way, PD in the chat. PD, I just installed Doom 2016 of 67 gigabytes, that game. But directly after the Monday show tomorrow, that's the very next thing I'm diving into, Doom 2016 in Vorpex.
Oh, sweet. So you're going to start the Vorpex, the rabbit hole.
Absolutely. So, PD has praised Doom 2016 as the best game he's ever played in Vorpex.
Wow.
And you know me, I love Doom. And just watching PD's video on it, the gameplay is just so fast-paced and violent, visceral, melee combat. A lot of the qualities in Doom that I imagine that we're going to get from the Walking Dead Onslaught here.
Nice. Yeah, Skiva, we've been I've been streaming it, and me and Jim Hall's been slooping it, but we're looking to increase to 3 or 4 man. And I'll leave it at that because this isn't the Sea of Thieves podcast, but
right. Anyway, back to these quotes here. He says, we're lucky to be able to use the iconic walkers from the show to get this done. We've been working closely with AMC to make sure that the walkers behave the same way that they do in the show. They're very protective of how walkers move, making sure that they sound right and look right. So basically, I think we're seeing the underlying tone here of the real reason why they've overhauled their game. If AMC is going to put their logo on this game, they have a certain standard of quality that they require, right? And I think that AMC's gone a lot more hands-on in working with Servios to ensure that this is something that represents their franchise well.
Yeah, well, I wonder if when you die, like if you get swarmed by like 10 or 20 of them and they get on you, is it going to be as visceral as the other deaths? Are they going to be like chewing into you? And like when you see that horse and they're all or with what's his name, Dale, which I still don't understand. You stumble onto a steaming pile of cow. I'm looking around immediately. I'm not just like staring at it like, whoa, I wonder what happened. And then all of a sudden, but.
Right. Yeah, I got to imagine that it's going to be quite visceral, very gory. They've been pretty upfront about that from day one. So yeah, I got to imagine that just as brutal as it is to kill the walkers, it's going to be as much so, or maybe even more so, to see the people die.
Yeah. What if you have somebody that's in your party and you can sacrifice them like Shane did? That'd be pretty cool. I mean, that was such a cold-blooded move, but it would be cool if you had that option, right? Just like shove them down and it's a sacrifice.
Right, well, that's something that they're focusing on in this game is to make it more open and spontaneous. Trying to provide us with a world that we can do stuff like that in, that we can improvise. So yeah, I'd be surprised if we weren't able to, sacrifice animals, sacrifice people, do what we have to do to survive.
That'd be cool.
But basically, their whole, story behind this these scavenger runs is that you might go out with a group, and just like on the television show, uh, not everybody's going to come back all the time.
Mm.
Sometimes you're going to lose people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes Carl dies and no more chocolate pudding.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That's screw them for killing Carl. By the way,
yeah.
uh,
A lot of people pissed a
honestly,
lot of people off.
on a side note, I think that what they did to Carl was probably the reason why there's no more Rick on the show, why there's no more Michonne on the show. They really dicked that kid over pretty bad, and I think that it showed the cast that Carl was the future of the show, right? He was, uh, with regards to the comic book. I mean, this was supposed to become Carl's story, and then when they dicked over Chandler Riggs, literally signed him to a new contract. He bought a house. He left college, bought a house in Atlanta so he can just concentrate on his career at The Walking Dead. And he didn't even make it a half a season after that before they killed him.
Wow.
They really dicked that kid over, and I think that that's why Andrew Lincoln left the show. I think that's why Denai Guerrero left the show. And I think that it probably has a lot to do with why Robert Kirkman ended the comic book. I think that that they really screwed the pooch when they killed Carl.
That's crazy, huh? One decision, one jump in the
Yeah,
shark, you know?
one big decision.
Yeah, remember when the Fonz jumped that shark in Happy Days? They say
Yeah,
that's when Happy Days jumped the shark. Crazy.
right. Anyway, a lot of replayability here, according to this game director. He says they're fairly big levels. I'd say people are going to have a lot of fun replaying them, particularly the scavenger levels. We change things up. Walkers and items don't spawn in the same locations. We keep the map expanding.
Hmm.
In this one, try to get to the end. In the other one, try to hold out in a location. Then we start stitching that together into a long map where you have to get to the end and then hold out and then get out. So apparently they're not going to. It's not going to be repetitive, the same type of gameplay over and over again with the scavenger runs. Those are going to vary playthrough to playthrough, level to level, and the game is just going to be endlessly replayable.
Wow. I want to play it now. When does this come out?
The Walking Dead Onslaught will be available later this year. This is something else that we got confirmed from this interview. You know, they haven't, since they postponed the game late last year, we haven't got any kind of confirmation of when it was going to come out. And I was starting to question if we're even going to get this game this year because they've changed it so much. But he does confirm in this interview that The Walking Dead Onslaught will be available this year, even though they don't have an exact date at the moment. It's going to be available for PSVR, Oculus Rift, and Vive. Interestingly, no WMR or Index mentioned. And they're going to be showing their first official gameplay reveal later this summer. So when they say that we're doing our first official gameplay reveal, that just further confirms that this is a whole new game. I mean, we have plenty of gameplay footage already, but they're saying they're going to do their first reveal later this summer, which means that this footage that we're looking at, this is a different game.
No, this is pretty much like, it's just like the drawing board. It's like, this is our the base, and we've polished it. We've made it. I mean, we saw those screenshots. I wish I would have pulled some of them up, but they're really good. So
yeah, so yeah, Roots. Basically, my hype level from this game has now gone from a 10 to an 11. Like, I am so pumped for this game. Again, I love The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, but I think Onslaught's going to be a totally different game. There are a few similarities, but I think there's going to be more differences than similarities. And, you know, from the moment I heard that Skydance was working on a Walking Dead game, what I was hoping for is what Servios is promising now. I wanted to be in the television show, and it looks like we're going to get that. And we're even going to get a more accurate recreation of the show than I ever would have hoped for with Norman Reedus, with Melissa McBride, with AMC being so hands on. I can't wait to do this, Roots.
Yeah, me too. Now, Drullo says he likes turning off all the XP and health bars and junk. Is that what you do as well? Or I've thought about that.
They were very specific in stating that that there isn't going to be a stamina bar in this game like Saints and Sinners. You're not going to have to worry about getting tired as you're fighting a horde of 30 zombies. I don't know if you can turn the health bar off. I mean, there might be some kind of a story mode that lets you do that, but this is arcade style action. I got to imagine a health bar is pretty integral in the gameplay mechanic, but you don't have to worry about the RPG style gameplay that Saints and Sinners put forth. There's not going to be that kind of grinding, and there's going to be no stamina bar that you have to deal with.
Nice. Well, sounds good. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
I'm ready for it too. I got to say, it's probably number one on my top most wanted upcoming games list. I mean, I'm excited about Medal of Honor as well, but I think The Walking Dead Onslaught's probably the top of my list.
What about RE8? Even though it's not 100% confirmed, we know it's VR.
I wasn't even thinking about RE8, and yeah, it was pretty much. I mean, it's not confirmed, but we had some further leaked information on that just before the show. Actually, I don't know if you saw it.
I did.
I posted. You did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basically, the same guy that has accurately leaked everything that we know about Resident Evil 8 gave us a little PSVR update stating that Resident Evil 8 PSVR support was originally supposed to be revealed during the June games showcase, but Sony at the last minute pulled that. They decided to stay silent on it. And apparently, as we have speculated before, Sony has some kind of a big PSVR reveal planned for the not so distant future. So we're going to get Resident Evil 8 PSVR support confirmed at some point between now and PS5 launch. But when they do that, I imagine it's going to be part of a larger PSVR showcase.
Nice. This looks crazy, dude. Like at one point there was like a horde in front of him and he turned around and there was another horde and it's just chaos, dude. You got to get to the van. I don't know. This looks exciting.
Yeah, dude. You're going to be excited about killing zombies and getting to the van when you're living in a van down by the river. Anyway, I couldn't help it. Sorry. Let's move on. We've talked enough about my favorite game of all time, The Walking Dead Onslaught. Let's talk some Tetris Effect, Roots. I thought that the news cycle was pretty much written for Tetris Effect. This was a finished game. I mean, what more could they do to Tetris, right? It's Tetris. There's only so much you could do. Obviously, Tetris Effect is the best version of Tetris ever, and it's one of the best VR games that I've played, honestly. But as it turns out, Tetris Effect is set to see a free upgrade in the very near future. Tetris Effect Connected is set to launch on the Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Windows 10, as well as Xbox Game Pass and Smart Delivery programs when it launches alongside Xbox Series X in holiday 2020. So there's a new version of Tetris Effect, Roots, and apparently it's a launch title for Xbox Series X. How does that make you feel?
It's pretty cool, actually. Jim Hall says, I missed my how dare you. This is towards you, Jim Hall, for saying that.
How dare you?
And somehow I missed a chance. Actually, I think I felt like there was one, but I did kind of miss it. But no, it's exciting. It's kind of odd that there's no PlayStation VR or PlayStation support. I guess it's an Xbox thing, and it's kind of exciting. It doesn't surprise me because one of the most favorite games that I see people, especially my ex-wife, my son, as far as Tetris, is that Tetris 99. and it's all about playing against 99 other people or whatever, and you're playing against like all these people, and there's all these ways you can screw each other over. People love it, and now if you can bring it into Tetris Effect or something of that nature, I think it makes sense, and I think it's pretty cool.
Well, that indeed is the gist of this new edition. Tetris Effect Connected is a definitive edition that will feature, quote, all new co-op and competitive online and local multiplayer modes. This is Tetris like you've never seen it or heard it or felt it before. An incredibly addictive, unique, and breathtakingly gorgeous reinvention of one of the most popular puzzle games of all time. And here's the kicker roots. In summer 2021, the multiplayer expansion will be made available as a free update to all other existing versions of Tetris Effect, including PlayStation 4, Epic Game Store, and Oculus Quest. So we're going to get this update, Roots, but we're going to have to wait a year. This is an Xbox exclusive for a year. And, you know, I'm glad that we're getting it, but it just makes me even angrier at Xbox because Xbox keeps getting exclusivity to all these awesome VR franchises, but then they won't support VR.
Then they dick them. Well, I was all excited about this news, Wes, until I realized I've got the Epic Game Store copy. I gotta wait till 2021, dude. If I want to play against other people, I'm not rebuying this game a third time. I already bought it on PlayStation, and then I bought it on PC or Epic. But I'm not really one that wants to play against other people anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I still think Sony's has better exclusives. You know what I mean? So
it makes me wonder if the Windows 10 edition that they're that is going to launch alongside the Xbox version, will it support VR? I got to imagine it will, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Makes sense.
I mean, I would think so. I mean, Xbox obviously won't, or at least we don't think so. I mean, they could surprise us at any time by announcing VR support. But the Windows 10 version, I got to imagine, isn't going to be very much different than the Epic Games version, other than this multiplayer expansion. So I would be shocked if there wasn't some kind of VR support with it. And it is, don't get me wrong, as far as flat versions of Tetris go, it's still very beautiful on a flat screen. But I mean, it doesn't even hold a candle to the experience inside the headset. The way that every aspect of the experience melts together, the haptics, the sound, the visuals, the actual gameplay, it all works off of each other. And it's a unique experience in VR. And I mean, we've done 3 episodes of the Monday show built around Tetris Effect. It's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's my favorite version of Tetris of all time, for sure. But so Greg VR says to get the F out of here for exclusive multiplayer. Very upset. He said he's flipping tables over. I'm with you, man. I'm not a big multiplayer Tetris person either, but the principle sucks. So
yeah, well, I get it. I'm a proponent for exclusivity. I think competition's good for the consumer. I know a lot of people think that exclusives are anti-consumer, but I contend that if it weren't for exclusives, a lot of the favorite games that we all have come to know and love wouldn't even exist. They wouldn't be funded. There's a reason why people are shelling out millions of dollars to make these AAA VR games, and that's so that they can have them exclusively on PlayStation, on Oculus, in this case on Xbox, what have you. So I'm for exclusives. It just sucks when you're the guy who has to wait, for the game to come to your platform.
It's funny too, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong on this, but it's not just multiplayer, dude. If you watch this trailer, it says it's optimized single player. They better not be making me wait 6 months for optimization for the single player game. Well, sorry, bro. You know, you're gonna have to wait. You can at least optimize my single player experience if you're not going to give me the multiplayer, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting, Roots, because you know we're talking about multiplayer as if it's exclusively competitive multiplayer, but they very specifically say that there's a co-op mode, Roots, and I
Hmm.
don't know what that means for Tetris, but I'm sure it's going to be cool. This is one thing that we constantly rail on, right? It's we want more co-op in VR.
Hmm.
Well, here's Tetris answering the call.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just getting sidetracked by how cool this game looks. Yeah, I absolutely. I think it's cool that they're still adding stuff to it, and I look forward to co-op for sure because we talked
So what do you
about it.
think? What do you think? The Money Show episode 15, maybe,
Maybe, yeah, I
from
don't know.
Tetris Effect.
Or 6 months away, you know. I is it on Steam now? Is that the? Or I guess it's out. We could buy it on the Microsoft store. We could do it quick, but I'm not
That's
doing
true.
it.
You know, they the good people at Enhance did provide me with a copy on Quest. I might could get them to send us a couple copies for
Yeah,
Windows 10
that's
so
a
we
good
can try
idea.
out the new stuff.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So
Tell them we want to talk about it.
maybe I'll reach out to them there.
Yeah, see, I'm totally different. If I'm part of the exclusivity, then I feel a little bit better than everybody else. And I'm like, yeah, you can't play this on your crappy ass Epic Game Store copy.
Drillo says, "Why is this such a big deal for them with all the exclusives and deals with this game? Let's get real here. It's just fucking Tetris.
It's Tetris, bro. It's
LMAO. They're treating it like some AAA Witcher 4 or some shit." Has Drillo played Tetris Effect Roots?
I I don't know. Have you, Drillo? I know he's railed on it, but he may have played it.
It's a great game. I mean, even Anthony, who shit on it relentlessly after playing the demo, kind of came around when we actually made him play it.
Yeah.
If you've played it, then we'll listen to your "It's Just Tetris" comments. But if you haven't played it, and I don't think that you have, because if you've honestly given it a real shot, you would know that it's not just Tetris.
Yeah. Well, see, that's one of the things is like until you, especially even in if you played the first couple levels, until you get further on and things are going fast, slow, and you have all these cool things and the haptics and the sound, it's definitely not just Tetris. I mean, even if it's Tetris isn't your game, it's definitely more than just Tetris. But I kind of understand what Drill is saying. I mean, it isn't The Witcher 4. It is very
I'm not.
bizarre, and why would you limit multiplayer? I don't like it, but again, if we could get copies from Windows 10, I'll be all about it. I'll be happy. I'll be playing co-op, you know. So,
Well, I for one, I love playing through this campaign. It's the only time that I ever played Tetris that it actually raised my pulse. And you can go back onto the Lethal Weasel channel and watch some of my gameplays. I played through the whole campaign, and literally, I've never been excited playing Tetris before, but I just couldn't help it, man. This game, it gets intense. I mean, unless you're just one of these people who don't care to lose. I mean, if you're one of these people who just gives up when something gets hard, then it might not affect you the way it affects me. But when I get in there, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to beat it, and the tempo changes and the distraction that the game provides toward the later rounds of the campaign provides a very intense game experience inside VR.
yeah. Do you have PTSD when you hear that bing? Like it's all
Bing, yeah.
bing, and then all of a sudden just, and you're like, oh God, everything's flying fast. And no, I think it's an amazing game. But Skiva says you need to get a Kill Bill VR game.
Dude, how awesome would a Kill Bill VR game be? That
That
would
would
be one of the most epic games of all time.
It'd be amazing. And Jim Hall says he has played Tetris Effect and he doesn't get it either. And I have one thing to say for you, Jim Hall.
How dare you?
This is Tetris Effect and it is the best game in the world. And no, it's really good. So
I'll just say this. I prefer it much more than Craptica.
oh, Craptica, screw that, dude. Autica is way better than I think anyway. But it's all about what you like.
Hey, where's Delirium Drew when I need him? I need some backup here, Drew. Tell these people how good Tetris Effect is.
Yeah, he's in here somewhere. Or he was. So
Anyway, we need to move on here, or else we're going to have to cut the show short. I just wanted to touch on that. I am a bit disappointed that I have to wait a year, potentially, to play co-op because I like the idea of being able to. I mean, this is a game I own on multiple platforms. I'm going to be able to play Tetris with my children whenever the day comes. So,
yeah, that's
so
awesome, dude. That. Of course, who knows how long that's going to be, right? But you'll be playing. You could play one PlayStation 5, one PlayStation 4. Who's going to be on the 5?
actually, I don't own this on PlayStation. I own
Oh,
this
really?
on Oculus Quest and PC.
Oh, wow. I thought you owned it.
I played the PlayStation version, but it was a rental from GameFly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still weird that's another reason why Wes now, who knows how long down the road, GameFly. One more reason to get the disc version of the PlayStation 5. So.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of reasons. And I've said I don't want to get off on another PS5 rant here, but watching people play Dreams these last few days, and Gamertag was streaming Rush of Blood yesterday, and I'm just so excited for the prospects of just backwards compatibility on PS5. That alone is worth $500 to me. Just to have a real machine behind the existing PSVR library is going to be incredible.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
It is. But let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about this game, Maskmaker. Maskmaker is from Inner Space VR. And for those of you who don't know who that is, these are the very talented group of developers that brought us A Fisherman's Tale. So I've known about Maskmaker for a few weeks now, maybe a month or so. I keep wanting to talk about it on the show, but we haven't had much information on it until now. They have released a new trailer, and we now know that Maskmaker is being published by NWM Interactive and is due for release next spring. In this game, you meet Prospero, who is an artist that makes magical masks. He tasks you with solving the mystery behind his creations, sending you on an adventure across 8 brand new environments. Roots, this trailer looks pretty incredible, doesn't it?
It does. And the game Fisherman's Tale is amazing as well. It's what they did with scale and the puzzles and everything. So I think I'm kind of psyched as well. It looks good.
Man. It looks like it looks a lot more open. Fisherman's Tale, as cool as it was, and the way it played with scale was certainly innovative and groundbreaking. But this looks more of an open experience, more of an adventure, which is right down my alley.
Yeah, it kind of has like an anime look to it as well, right?
Yeah, it looks like something that they haven't mentioned Oculus Quest support, and I know it's getting to become kind of almost a meme now on our program. But this looks like it could be a Quest game, doesn't it?
Well, I hope not, because everybody will shit all over it. Scion to be like, oh yeah, it's a Quest game. I mean, it could be the best game in the world. Oh, you got Quest attached to it? Well, it's garbage. But over here is Vertigo Remastered, and that thing is phenomenal. And I'll tell you what, I streamed the Vertigo Remastered yesterday. We're going to talk in detail tomorrow on the Monday show. It was good, and I'll leave it at that. So tune in tomorrow to the Monday show for our full thoughts on it. But or you can go to my stream on Twitch. But it was good. Yeah, charming. Yeah, all the Quest games are super charming.
Yeah. I guess while we're on the topic of the Monday show, real quick, how silly of me. We should be trumpeting it from the rooftops. We're giving away games tomorrow, Roots.
Oh yeah.
We've got 3 copies of Into the Radius that we're going to be giving away tomorrow during the Monday show. And we've done a pretty shit job of spreading the word about this. So I'm going to ask you, our awesome community to give us a hand here and get the word out that we're giving away games tomorrow on the Monday show. We're going to be giving our thoughts on the final release version of Into the Radius. And we're going to be talking, like Ruuts just said, about Vertigo Remastered and what we think about that. So it's going to be a great episode. We're going to, again, have 3 copies, thanks to Scion, of Into the Radius to give away. It's going to be an epic, epic show. So if you guys don't mind, please help us spread the word. Take to your Twitters and Instagrams, take to Reddit, do what you got to do. Help us get the word out there, and let's get some people in here and have a nice party tomorrow.
Yeah, no more Tetris on tomorrow's show. But I'll tell you what, the Inside the Radius or Into the Radius, I streamed that as well, and I think I'm going to stream that later. I'm supposed to hang out with Scion and get a little bit more of a feel, but that also was better than I thought, and we will go into detail, like you said, and have those 3 copies. Is like what's it? Drilla said he's looking forward to getting a chance to win that game because Scion drools all over it. So
yeah, Scion's a big supporter of this game. There's a reason why our giveaway keys are coming from Scion instead of the developer, right?
Yeah.
It's 'cause Scion's like the brand ambassador for Into the Radius.
yeah, he spent a lot of time. I think he spent probably at least 30 or 40 hours or plus just looking for bugs. Like they literally he specifically was thanked by the devs at release, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So big thanks to the devs. You know, I mean, our access came directly from the devs. They gave us both the key.
Mhm.
They gave Scion the key. Well, I don't even know if they gave Scion his key or not, but they gave him other keys, and he has been kind enough to pass them on to us.
No,
So
the devs actually, yeah, maybe he did buy it 3 times, but no, I think the devs gave it to him for help, and I think they may have even given him 5 keys, so he might not have had access. Maybe he had beta access, and one of the keys he collected. So yeah, that's definitely cool.
yeah, Scion has extra keys himself. Actually, he didn't give them all to us, and he's done a great series of playthrough videos, and you can find those on our Discord as well in the self-promotion channel. So again, another good reason to click that invitation in the description. Go check out Scion's videos.
Yeah, Scion VR on YouTube. So.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, back to Maskmaker. As far as these 8 new environments, at first we can see a gorgeous little town for players to explore. But when they bring their hand to their face, they can remove a mask and find themselves back in Prospero's workshop. So this is kind of an effect like Golem has going on. You know, in Golem, you play the role of this this crippled little girl who's bedridden, but she actually manages to leave her body through psychic ability and possess these stone golems. And it's pretty cool because at any time you can kind of take this wand thing and it makes this portal that you can stick your face through and be back in your bedroom just like that. So it seems like Maskmaker is going to have a similar effect going on. You're out in this world, in this adventure, but at any point in time, you can take off your mask and be back in your workshop.
How cool is that when you see devs take something like a mechanic like that and then bring it into their world? Because that's one of the best things about Golem is that mechanic, you know. And I never got to play Golem because of the it's on PlayStation VR and I didn't have it at that time, but now I can get a chance to check out that type of a thing. And I want to go back to the bedroom with my mask, Wes. It looks nice and cozy there. There's no scary creatures out there.
Yeah, Ruuts, with the topsy-turvy world that we're living in today, I find myself enjoying the comfort of my bedroom more and more.
Yeah, stay safe. I'll tell you what, man. It's VR. It's a perfect time for VR. I can get in to all these games and not feel so guilty about staying inside.
Drillo says, what do we have to do to win the giveaway? We haven't finalized what we're going to do. But generally, when we do key giveaways, we use multiple methods, right? So there's going to be a key that's going to be available to people who show up live in the chat. There's going to be at least one that people are going to be able to win post-mortem after the show, people who watch over the course of the next few days up to a week. So I don't know. We'll do two of one method and one of the other, but we haven't decided whether we're going to give away two live and one post-mortem or vice versa. But we generally try to make it fair for everybody so that everybody has a chance to win. But we're not going to just drop numbers in the chat. There'll be something more to it than that.
Yeah, no, Wes comes up with the best ways to do that. So I trust
We
you.
generally do trivia, right? Instead of dropping keys in chat, I'll ask some easy trivia question, and the first one to answer it wins the key. So we'll probably do that.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. So get ready for some trivia drill. You need to learn it all up. And you'll have at least two chances, right? You can have a chance in the comments if you don't win live, and then I don't know what we'll decide for that third one. So
Yeah, absolutely. We'll probably, I don't know, we might do two live. We generally, we like to give them. We generally tend to prefer to give away the majority of our keys in the comments because when we do our shows, like right now, the West Coast is sleeping. A lot of people on the West Coast are sleeping, but the Europeans are all able to watch. Tomorrow on the Monday show, just the opposite. The West Coast are going to be prime time for them, right? They're just getting home from work, just had dinner. They're going to be ready for the Monday show while the Europeans are sleeping. So we generally tend, when we have giveaways, to like to let everyone have a shot at it. So yeah, and again, it's like a consolation prize. If you don't win the one in the chat, you have a second chance in the comments.
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yep. Jim Hall says the answer is Tetris Effect to all the trivia. Well, Jim Hall has already won the key. Congratulations, Jim Hall, on answering the trivia question before we even answered it.
Yeah.
Asked it.
Yeah, that's crazy. He didn't even. How did he know? That's Jim Hall for you.
Chris Richardson representing LA. He says he's up. Hey, congrats for still being in LA, man. Rogan's leaving, Joey Diaz is leaving. Everybody's getting the hell out of Dodge and moving to Texas.
You know who else is leaving?
Boom.
The wrong button. I'll tell you what I was gonna say. Actually, I was really who really is leaving Radio Run, but that's gonna sometime next year, I think. He's moving to Idaho or Iowa or something.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's to moving, right? Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. I think we're probably going to have to drop some of these topics if we don't get through it a little bit quick.
Yeah. Let's move
on. Maskmaker, it says that you'll also learn to craft your own masks that you can then use to different effects within certain levels. So apparently you're going to have powers and abilities come from these masks, and you're going to be spending the majority of the game crafting these. This is kind of what the game is built around, right? Magical powers that come from your masks that you craft yourself.
Well, that's cool. So each mask has a different power, you say?
That is the implication here, yes.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds cool. And the environments definitely look beautiful. And so I'm looking forward to it. I didn't even know, like you said, you knew about this for what, 3 weeks or so? I didn't even know it existed. That sounds that's the beauty of the show is I feel like I'm watching the West show sometimes because you come out with such amazing, good topics,
Interspace VR released a press release a few weeks back, but all it had was one picture, like some artwork, like the cover art, but no trailer, no gameplay footage, no information about what the game was. So I knew it was going to be cool just because, these guys brought us a Fisherman's Tale, right? So I had an idea that it was going to be something cool, but we didn't know, not until this past week. So I'm glad we have more info on it now. The title's now listed on Steam, which confirms support for Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and Valve Index. The developer or the publisher rather has also confirmed that it will be coming to PSVR at some point.
Yeah, Drilla, you're right. Meow Meow, the gamer cat, asked if we were going to talk about Death Unchained today, just released this week, but we covered it in depth last week, and it's a good game, definitely worth picking up if you got a Quest, and that's what I would say anyway.
Yeah, man, we've done 2 pieces of content on In Death Unchained. We did the Monday show, notably last week was on In Death Unchained, and I did a playthrough of the preview build, just before that. I had planned on doing another gameplay this past week, and after 3 failed attempts to get my Quest to capture video footage, I had to move on. I've been playing In Death all week, and it's great, dude. I'm having so much fun playing In Death. It seems that I'm better at it on Quest than I am on PC. The gameplay feels more fluid on the Quest version as compared to PC. Obviously, it's better looking on the PC, but it doesn't look bad on the Quest. But yeah, just go back, check out the Monday show. And, I was kind of slyly trying to talk around the embargo, right? Because it hadn't released at that point. But everything I said on Monday applies to the full version. I was talking about the full version. I just couldn't say, hey, I'm talking about the full version right now.
Yeah, well, that's definitely an amazing game. In Death in general, definitely worth picking up for sure.
Yeah, last couple times I played it, Roots, I actually made it to the boss. I've never made it to a boss yet in Death.
Wow.
And I died quickly the first time, but the second time I made it quite a bit longer, and now I think I have the strategy. I know what I'm going to do next time, and I think I'm going to kill him next time.
Now let me ask you this, and I'll make it quick because I know we got to get through some topics. But Quest recording footage, are you now at the point where you're going to get the casting, whatever you said you have? There's a way to do it. Yeah, because I guarantee you were frustrated, dude, because 3 or 4 times of thinking you got footage, that would piss me off. That would piss me off really badly. So
yeah, three different hour-long gameplays, Roots, just lost. And good ones too, dude. I'm on fire, like pulling headshots off on moving targets from distance. I mean, pissing me off to lose this stuff,
Yeah, I think when you finally get that recording solution solidified, it'll be so much easier that you'll be like, oh, dude, why didn't I do this before? Easy.
Well, I already have like the expensive parts. Like I've got the capture card already. I've got the Chromecast already. But Chromecast has HDCP copy protection, and you have to strip that because Elgato will not allow you to record anything that has copy protection. So you have to buy these HDMI splitters.
Yeah.
And you have to find one that strips the HDCP out of the signal, and they're only $10 or $15, and I've just kind of put it off because there for a good long while my Quest was doing just fine recording footage, but it's been a real hassle. I lost a Phantom Covert Ops playthrough that I did on it. I've lost 3 in-depth playthroughs on it.
Wow.
And it's getting to the point now where I got to move on. I got to find a different method.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's pushed you in the right direction. So
yeah. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's talk about time hackers. For those of you who don't know, developer Joyway is gearing up to release time hackers within the next couple of months. You play as a hero who can temporarily stop time, allowing you to defuse dangerous situations. You've got some humanoid killer robots to deal with and innocents to save. So whilst they're defenseless, you can manipulate the environment to your benefit. So kind of, I don't know, some shades of super hot here, but obviously some very big differences as well. Kind of an action game / puzzler, right? You have these situations that you have to resolve. There are many different ways that you can go about achieving your goal. And the main mechanic of the game, of course, is time manipulation.
Yeah, it looks really cool actually, or like it could be cool. It kind of reminds me, somewhat of a way of Just in Time Incorporated, except for that was more of like a slowed down time. But I like the fact that you can like set things up. You see those movies where they stop time and then, or like the Flash is so fast he can like move things, and then once time starts itself up, everything just kind of chain reactions, right? So it looks like you could get some cool chain reactions going. So hopefully there'll be a cool story as well to pull you along, but looks pretty cool.
Yeah, when I saw this, my thought was exactly what you just said. Just in Time Incorporated. It's a situational thing, right? Where you're being put into these situations with time stopped and trying to resolve them. You can take different methods such as melee action, firearms, explosive devices, or you can just knock them into traffic. And when you're done, time returns to normal, chaos ensues. So games like this have a lot of replayability. I think that's the one of the coolest things about Just in Time Incorporated, and I feel like that's going to be the case here as well.
Yeah, Drillo says it looks like prototype Jack from Tekken.
Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of
it
looks like the
does
Silver
actually.
Surfer a little bit too, or at least
Destro
yeah,
from G.I. Joe.
yeah, Destro, man. Oh, dude, who doesn't love that? Although it's probably not Destro anymore because the Mandela effect. Probably was never
Right,
Destro.
right.
But yeah, no, it looks cool. I can't wait to see what. I didn't even know this game existed. Cool mechanic. Graphics look good, and let's see if it's gonna live up to what we think. What we just said, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Joyway looking to launch Time Hacker for PCVR headsets like Oculus Rift, Valve Index, HTC Vive in either August or September. Now, here's the cool thing, Roots. If you like the idea of Time Hacker, it's currently going through closed beta testing. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm sure that you can contact them either through their website or they may even have a Discord. And you can go ahead and get involved in helping test the game.
All right, cool. Roundhouse kick, man. Can I do a roundhouse kick in VR? That'd be cool.
Sounds like a TV destroyer to me, Roots.
Yeah, it does sound like a TV destroyer. Actually, never mind. Yeah.
So, people, I know you're all out there racking your brain going, Joyway, Joyway. Where have I heard of Joyway? I've heard that name before. Who are these guys? What else are they doing? These are the developers that are also working on another exciting VR title, Stride. And for those of you who don't remember Stride, it's this parkour style experience that has a mirror's edge feel to it. It's that rooftop jumper, Roots, that we've been so excited about checking out. That also has a release date and is set to arrive in the summer. So how about Joyway all of a sudden coming out with two pretty awesome looking VR titles right in the same window?
That's crazy. You know what's funny about that other game, the parkour one? What'd you say the name of it is? The one that you're on the roof?
Stride.
Yeah, Stride. The Discord actually, I mean, really is a buzz about that game. Like, there's a lot of people that are super, super psyched about it. I mean, it's one of those games that I thought, okay, this looks cool. I wasn't like, oh, this is the best game, but there's people in there that they really, really want to play Stride. So I'm starting to get psyched for that game. And like you said, they're obviously doing a lot at Joyway.
Yeah, well, you've heard me many times, call for a VR version of Infamous. And largely the reason why I want that is because I want to experience uh, combat from the rooftops down that Infamous provides, and going from rooftop to rooftop, shooting bad guys on the street. Uh, I feel like we're going to get a lot of that from Stride. It certainly looks to be the case, and that's why I'm excited about it. I've never played Mirror's Edge. I'm not that familiar with it, but when I look at this game, I see Infamous, or at least a lot of the things I like about Infamous in this game. So yeah, I'm looking. You say the people in the Discord are excited. Count me among them. I'm excited for Stride as well.
Yeah, sounds good. I know Derail says Time Hacker was originally called Time Ranger. and they changed it from POC to silver people. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. So
Yeah, it actually was called Change Ranger or something
oh,
like that.
change.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And maybe they made it Time Ranger after it was Change Ranger, or it was something like that. Maybe it was Time Ranger. But yeah, they just changed the name to Time Hacker, and I think it sounds better anyway.
Yeah,
So
it actually
good for them.
fits. It's pretty good. So sometimes it takes a couple tries to get the right name. So,
Yeah, but it looks cool, man. I mean, not quite as hyped for this as Stride, but it definitely looks cool, and it looks like it might even be more replayable than Stride even is. So
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be exciting when they both drop soon.
yeah, yeah. So again, just further evidence that I mean the rest of this year when it comes to VR games, it's going to be chaotic. I mean, there's so many games. If they don't get delayed, it's going to be jam packed between now and the 2020 show, Roots.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. After playing that Vertigo remastered, made me think again what you said, that 2020 is not going to be an easy game to pick which game is the ultimate game of the year, or even which one's the games of the month. You know, like there's a lot of good games coming out.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not a slam dunk for Half-Life Alex by any means, and I'm honestly I don't know. You know, if I had to pick Half-Life Alex or The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, I don't know which one I would pick, Roots. Honestly.
Yeah, me too. And we're only a little over halfway through the year.
Yeah, yeah, great big AAA VR games still to come this year, and that's the ones that we know about. I'd be surprised if Sony does. I mean, Dreams, dude. Dreams came out this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's all the things made. I was talking to my son about Dreams yesterday, because I was watching some Yogscast and they were doing TTT, and I was like, man, either in Source 2 or Dreams, I see a TTT, a Gary's mod of sorts coming, because TTT is so popular. It's in Pavlov already, and I'd love to see it, especially in Source 2. So there's just so many things that are going to come from both of those engines.
Yeah, that's something I need to get into now that I've finished Alex. I need to get in some of these mods because there's some really cool looking ones out there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, how cool is it, man? We've got Dreams on PSVR. We've got Source 2 fully moddable on PC. I mean, it's a great time to be a VR gamer.
Okay, so Gerillo says Half-Life is easy, but yeah, Saints and Sinners is good too. Well, what about Half-Life Alex versus Vertigo Remastered? You know, like there's a lot of Vertigo Remastered that I think is better than Half-Life Alex in different ways.
I think Gerillo there just said it all when he said Half-Life is easy. He didn't say it is easy, but it actually, yeah, it is easy. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that's something that Saints and Sinners, not so much.
yeah, it's true.
Anyway, I guess we should move on to our next game on the docket, and this one is called Sword Reverie. And I basically just put this one in here, Roots, because some of the gameplay that they display in this trailer actually reminds me of old school, video games. It's cool. It's like, we often talk about how we like it when a game makes us feel like we're inside one of our old school video games. That very much looks like the case here.
Yeah, so what game would it be? This definitely looks like it's got a lot to it, right? Not only just the melee, and I'm not the most melee person, but they shot fireballs out of it, and looks very colorful and beautiful.
Yeah, it reminds me of like I can't put like a title to the concept in my head, but like the PlayStation 1 era of action RPGs
Okay.
is what comes to my mind when I see stuff like this.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Now, is this like you're moving through environments, or it's like wave shooters? I mean, I saw them moving forward, so I'm assuming you're moving through stuff. And is it co-op, or are you is that your like companion?
I'm not sure if it's co-op or not, but this is it's pretty much a JRPG game. It's a role-playing
Wow.
game, so it's going to be open world. You're going to be moving around, taking on quests here and there. It's going to be like Nostos.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, maybe man, Nostos. I need to go back into that. maybe this will actually do what Nostos was trying to do, right? It looks good. So
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good, and this is still some fairly early footage. This isn't our first footage of this game, but this footage shows off new gameplay and more of the fantasy environments that you're able to explore in game. Alongside the trailer, the developer provided an update at where they're at in the development cycle, and it sounds like we might be able to try the game out soon. Roots, what time is it?
it's quote time.
It is quote time indeed. Quote, we are proud to show off additional combat footage and new rich environments for Sword Reverie. Dates for the first playtest will be announced this month, and you can sign up on our website now. We are polishing up the sword fighting in AI, and you can see some of the changes to the abilities in our new trailer. Levels are also more fleshed out as we begin to shift our attention to level design. So, Roots, much like the last game, and even more so, this game's open to play now. If you guys want to check this out, you can go to their website, sign up for this beta, and it looks like they're looking for people to test their game for them.
I have a conundrum. I want to be that girl. I want to do well. No, I want to be the bow and arrow. Like I'm not, and I would say, okay, maybe you could be either one, but this is like the name tells me that you're going to be doing the swords, right? But I literally would love to be the other character doing the bow and arrow instead. And I would be cool if you could have that option.
I would put forward that it is 2020 and you can be whatever you want to be.
That's right. And you better play
whatever
along.
You feel like deep down in your soul. That's what you are.
And I expect everybody else to attend with me. So.
Mepper says, looking at recent reviews of Nostos, I hope this isn't like it, but much better. You know, Nostos, it has all of the foundation of an epic, great VR game. The thing that bogs down Nostos is a 100% performance. If that game ran well, dude, I'd play it all the time, right, Roots?
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It just didn't run well, but it's all about like the whole what they were planning on it being. You know what I mean? That's what I meant as far as like it had that. It could have been better, and I still want them to fix it because I own it. I bought it. I think it was like $30. Damn it! I want to go back into it at some point. So
yeah, man, they promised and promised, didn't they, that they weren't going to stop, that they were going to continue to support it until it got to the state that it needs to be in. But I mean, if what Mepper's saying here is true, the recent reviews don't reflect that, and I think that it's unfortunate because the environments, the characters in that game, the animations, the concept, all beautiful, right? I mean, a very good looking. It's just so janky, jittery, and glitchy that I mean, it's just as frustrating as it is amazing.
It'll probably serve as inspiration for somebody down the road that will make the game that we were hoping for. VR Spry Guy says he feels like a multi-millionaire deep down in his soul, but his bank laughs at him when he tries to withdraw large amounts of money. That's my whole thing is like, what if I went into the bank and told him, hey man, I identify as the bank manager today. Let me in the vault. They're going to tell you, get the hell out of here, Roots. And
you could call them a bigot and a hateful person.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I already did.
For more details, check out the Sword Reverie website, where you can also sign up for the aforementioned upcoming playtests. Sword Reverie is expected to launch into early access sometime this year for PCVR, with a potential for a Quest and PSVR release later down the line.
Oh, potential, right? So I guess they're going to see how well it does on PC and then go from there. It's pretty smart.
It's interesting because we always have this with like every game, right? They all say the same things. They develop for PC VR because it's easier to develop for, right? It's like you have all this overhead because the PC is so much more powerful than those other platforms. And on top of that, the standards for publishing on Steam are pretty much non-existent. Anybody can publish a game on Steam. So they all say that, right? Everybody says Quest and PSVR at a later date because that's where the money's at, right? That's where all the players are at.
Mm.
But nobody will say, we're PC exclusive, bro. They all say that they're coming to Quest and PSVR, but very few of them actually end up making it.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, that's going to change soon, right? You got the Quest 2 coming out. It's going to be more powerful. You got the PlayStation VR going to the PlayStation 5, at least for those players. So we're going to see a different day where it may be flipped, because you'll have the numbers, and it'll be easy to, as soon as it's easy to optimize it for those two platforms, you might see, well, we're going to put it out for Quest and PSVR, and if it does well, we're going to come out to PCVR, and then Roots is going to be like, what the hell's going on here? Be pissed. So.
Yeah, man. It's certainly people are doing better with the Quest even today than what they were doing a year ago.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm not so sure that the new Quest is going to be a more powerful headset or not. And I don't want to get off on that. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the new info on that tomorrow on the Monday show.
Yeah.
I'm really. Most people seem to think that that's that the new Quest is kind of a downgrade, kind of a Quest Lite. Everyone's calling it Quest Lite. They're expecting it. Just pure speculation, by the way, on everyone's part. They all expect it now to be $300 or less, which would be great. Don't get me wrong, that would be awesome. But there's literally zero evidence for that. It's all like it's the danger of speculation in VR, right? Everybody makes these assumptions, and then when the reality doesn't match up to what exactly they shit on it.
Why would Oculus do that? Like, they've already got solidified $400. There's no reason to drop the price. I think it stays at 400. You can put me right on that as my prediction right now. And everything else is so much more expensive. It's a sweet spot. I just don't think they need to drop the price. Why would you do that?
What say we flesh this out and talk it out again tomorrow on the Monday show?
Yep, let's do that. That'll be our discussion part of it. That's a good idea.
That'll be our topic. And I know it was our topic last week as well, but we have new info, right? We have a lot new info now that we didn't have last week.
That's right.
So tune in tomorrow to get my thoughts on the new leaks. I think that there's some very clear assumptions that we can make about it, and then there's some other things that are pure speculation, which might turn out to be true, but might not. So we'll get into all that tomorrow. Right now, I want to talk about Racket NX, and people are going, "What? Why would you want to talk about Racket NX? That game came out, 2017, 2018? Hasn't seen a meaningful update in a long time. Why would anybody want to talk about Racket NX? Well, I'll tell you why. It is soon to get a major update with new features, Roots, like co-op, avatar customization, and in-game tournaments. And for those of you who don't know, Racket NX is a virtual reality fusion of tennis and breakout. And from what most people say, Roots, this is a very fun, highly underrated VR game.
Have you played this?
I have not.
No, this is actually really cool. I played it on the PC, and I think it would be amazing on the Quest, especially at a decent sized space, because that thing's going all over and you are spinning around constantly. And the way that it's just different. I can't explain it, but I played it a while back, and it's actually a pretty cool game.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome. I remember Anthony used to talk about it quite a bit when he was on the VR Game Rankings show. He kind of got me interested in it, but it was one of those that I just never went back. I may even have this game on Viveport. I'm thinking that I might have it, own it.
Okay.
But I've never booted it and actually played it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out for sure. Especially if you can somehow do it on the Quest. I think that would be even better just because of the full 360. But I mean, you're still doing the full 360 in the other game anyway. You just got the cord. It is all around you. It's very good for immersion, because the ball is moving everywhere. That's cool.
This is one of the top 10 highest rated games on Oculus Quest.
Really? Yeah, I could see it because it's one of those games that I could see would utilize the fact that you're wireless better than any other game, and it's an active game as well. So
yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. So here we have another game, Roots, giving us exactly what we asked for: co-op, in-game tournaments, avatar customization.
cool.
Again, Roots, it isn't saying versus multiplayer here alone, but also co-op. I mean, I don't know exactly what that's going to mean for this game, but it's cool nonetheless.
It'd be cool if you're both in that circle and you got two balls going around and I don't know, man, who knows what they could do to make it cool for co-op. But I'm kind of one of those people that intrigues me more. I'd rather play with people than against people. Just because especially with my friends. So
Yeah, exactly. Who knows, Roots? Maybe the money show number 9 will come from Racket NX.
yeah, Jim Hall is just offending me every time he says something. He says it's just meh for me. He played it a few times, and I again, Jim Hall, you're giving me so many opportunities for this, but
How dare you?
just offended, brother.
Everybody has their own taste. Chris Richardson says that it's well worth a buy, but the wireless is key with it.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
So
Do we have
this isn't
time?
the only new. This isn't the only news with Racket NX. In addition to this fairly major update that's coming to the game, the studio has also teased that the game is heading to, quote, another VR platform, which by process of elimination would seem to be almost certainly PlayStation VR.
Wow, that's interesting considering we just said how great it is for wireless, that it's a 360 game, and even on the PC you're spinning around and worrying about the cord. I'd love to see how they, unless this is like the PlayStation 5 version or the next with a new camera or something, it's going to be very limited in space and where you can be shooting this thing, right? Maybe it's a 180 thing instead of 360. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, I told you, that's what I was saying. Well, the good news is that all we had left to talk about was deals, and we don't have to really.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm going to wrap it up here in the next 10 minutes or so, maybe 15. I don't want to shortchange ourselves here, so we're just going to truck on through it here. But Roots, I feel like with regards to Racket NX on PSVR, that we could likely see them take the approach that we've seen similar games take, like Beat Saber, for example, where it might be a 360 game on PC and Quest, but on PSVR, that range gets narrowed, right?
Yeah. I mean, however they can do it. I mean, it wouldn't ruin the game. It just changes it a little bit, but still a good game.
Or it could be very well, like you said, it could be something that comes during the next iteration of PSVR. We will see. But Racket NX launched initially into early access back in 2017 and then into its full version in 2018. But after the game launched on Quest in 2019, and in 1 year generated 10 times the number of reviews that the Rift version had, the developer One Hamza is now preparing some major updates. This guy pretty much came out and said it. This is stuff he's wanted to do to the title for a long time, but he never had the cash flow until he released on Quest. And it's been so wildly successful on Quest. Again, this is something we hear, time after time, game after game, developer after developer. They're all making their money on Quest. And now, PC players say to me all the time, how does this success of the Oculus Quest benefit me? Well, here's a perfect example of how being successful on Quest benefits PC. This guy's getting cash flow from that marketplace and is now updating the game for all of us.
Yeah. I mean, it's all tied together. It'd be like Quest people saying, "How does Half-Life Alyx help me?" It's one hand is scratching or the back of the other, and I think it's all coming to a good place, Wes. You know, all these developers are now actually making money. And like you said, the Quest has that many more headsets out there, or it's fixing to for the hardware wise. It's what everybody's, you know, clamoring onto. It's the one thing I tell people when I talk to them about VR, they're aware of VR, but they feel like it's out of their grasp. They're like, I don't have a computer, and they kind of get sad, and I want to like go give them a hug, but COVID prevents me. And then I tell them, oh, that's a word I can't say. But then, you know, then the Quest, I could tell them about the Quest and that standalone, and their eyes light up. It's a game changer, and we said that a year ago, and we're seeing it. So,
yeah. My kid, he's decided that he wants to empty out his piggy banks. He wants to spend his entire Christmas from everyone, and we're going to start picking up some PC components. Roots. My boy wants a gaming PC.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. And you know, you're fixing to. I mean, it would give you incentive to maybe invest in another video card, because you could just give him your video card, or vice versa.
That ain't happening.
You're like,
we're going to be doing a budget build for him. But with that said, it is giving me incentive. I think I am going to upgrade my RAM kit, and so he will be inheriting 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 from me. So
that's awesome. A lot of people say to be careful when you're upgrading your RAM right now, because we're going to DDR5, but you know, I don't think they realize that you're talking a motherboard change, and like not everybody's, oh, DDR5's out, I'm getting it. No, you're gonna have to upgrade a lot of stuff to get that DDR5. I'll probably do it, but not everybody's gonna be doing it. So
right, exactly. Well, quickly, since we're running out of time, I want to run down some of these new features coming to Racket NX from the horse's mouth. This is the description from one Hamza. Co-op mode. We've wanted to do this one forever and finally have the chance. Co-op will allow friends or strangers or virtual strangers to play together as a team. Avatar customization. Customize your racket, your avatar, and a bunch more elements we're still keeping secret.
oh, that's your second alarm, right? Or it's
I better stop that. We're gonna get myself
copyright
that's
strike.
Nirvana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Custom mode. We're going to give you all of the knobs and checkboxes to play with. Game speed, gravity, power up type and frequency, rules, and much more. So you're going to be able to customize the matches, single player or multiplayer.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I know. Awesome, right? A monthly challenge, especially monthly solo set that will keep changing, allowing us to regularly introduce new content. So this is something like what we see in Tetris Effect on a weekly basis right now. And finally, tournaments, an easy way to set up and spectate tournaments in game, which I think is just going to be awesome. Roots, something that we can engage the community with.
Wow, yeah, dude. I foresee a contractors going out the window, and now we're doing rendered reality versus virtual strangers. Racket NX. Well,
hey, dude, I would take those guys to school in Tetris. I mean, you and your fancy gun stocks want to go to where you have the advantage. Meet me on the Tetris battlefield and see how you do there, pal.
Yeah, or give you an aim controller.
Yeah, for real. Dude, I'll take on anybody in Farpoint. Bring it on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you're not going to have that happen to me because I've played with you. I'm not going up against you. Not happening.
You know, they dropped the idea in our comments the other day of 2-on-2.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, and I'm sure it would be fun, but
I think it would get raped.
I think that I wouldn't be quite so comfortable without my community there.
We need our Zach Fontaine, and we need our our ringers that
see that they know that too. I mean, I was pretty open from the very first day that I've barely played this game, so they want to press their advantage, obviously.
Jim Hall says tic-tac-toe VR coming from the makers of Tetris Effect.
Hey, dude, if it's anything like Tetris Effect, I'll play it.
Well, yeah, well, yeah, that's crazy, dude.
I'm sure it'd be the best iteration of tic-tac-toe we've ever seen.
Who doesn't want to play tic-tac-toe in VR?
Honestly, I think that I've seen maybe on SideQuest I saw that. I've seen something like that somewhere.
That we do need, Scion. Rendered reality versus virtual strangers grip. I don't know if they could hang with us, dude. With you and Spry Guy leading the pack, I think we would win, hands down.
The question is, do they have the courage that we have? We obviously are courageous enough to meet them on their battlefield of choice. This is their game. Would they do the same? I mean, Grip's a great game. They can't say it's not fun. I mean, it's cheap. They pretty much give it away, like literally give it away on Amazon Prime. So why not? Why don't we throw the gauntlet down, Roots, and say,
yeah, I think
Grip.
I think it was just thrown down not only by us but the chat as well. So, yeah.
Spry Guy says that would be a one-sided event. See, all the comments that they were giving me when we started talking about contractors, they're now giving the same comments, but in the other direction when it comes to Grip.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Grip, our community's pretty damn good at Grip. Now, who knows? Maybe Rendered Reality's amazing at racing as well. I just know I can't seem to catch. And there's the you have the battles as well. It's not just racing. There'd be some good battle modes, dude. Those are crazy.
Yeah, if you guys like the old Twisted Metal style of battle, I mean, even Deathlap does it really well, but I think Grip even has a better battle mode than Deathlap does.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
We need to get back into Deathlap. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, and see what they've got for it. See if it's they've added anything, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right. Anyway, tick, tick, tick. We got about 5 minutes to wrap it up here, Roots. Let's really quick move into the reminders. First of all, as we do this week and every week, we would like to remind you all to support the developers by joining us right now as we go and wish list some of the games that we've been talking about today. And we actually have some good ones to choose from today, Roots. We've got Sword Reverie, Time Hackers. I think I'm going to go after Maskmaker. I think that looks awesome.
Yeah, what was it? That sword, you said you saw the Sword Reverie, right?
Yeah, Sword Reverie. Yeah.
It was on there.
Looks, yeah, there's a Steam page for Maskmaker. There's a Steam page for Sword Reverie. And I'm not sure about
Time Hackers.
Time Hackers. So
well, there probably is. I mean, if the other one was on there, I'm assuming Time Hackers is on there, right? Time Ranger or Change Hacker, or I don't know.
Change Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah, they made a good choice changing it.
Yeah, I think that you're right about that. I think Time Hacker sounds much better.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
As always, it's not on there.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm going into the Oculus store here, onto the Rift store. So the problem is whenever I do the show, I'm always signed into the wife's Windows account, which means it's got her Steam and her Oculus, and so I got to go on my phone to do this now.
Okay.
And we're going to do Maskmaker, huh?
Dude, I tried to unwind my headphones here, man. This is horrible. Really bad. I gotta unplug it and fix it, man. It is bugging me. Okay.
Maskmaker. Yep, well, I can't find Maskmaker on the Oculus store. Well, I'll have to do this later because I don't have time to sign wife out of Steam and sign myself back in. But be sure to let us know in the comments down below which game that you wish listed. You guys have no excuse this week. There are some good games on this list that we talked about today, and let's support the developers. Let's let them know that we want their games.
Yeah, Tetris Effect. Jim Hall, you need to wish list it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, the new Tetris Effect. I guess we could have done that, right? The new one.
Yeah.
Anyway, that brings us to our second set of reminders: free stuff and killer deals. As always, we're going to start off with our PlayStation Plus reminders. The PlayStation Plus games for the month of July. Winding down, Roots. So get them now while you still can. NBA 2K20, Rise of the Tomb Raider, complete with VR mode, and Erica. So if you haven't already claimed those games, be sure to go and do so. Again, we're at the end of the month. We're about to change over. Get it while you still can. Free, Roots. It's free.
Free is good.
Also wanted to mention that the PSVR summer sale is going on, and some classic, great VR titles are on sale. I've listed just a few here. Arizona Sunshine, Astrobot, Farpoint, all can be had for $10. And then other games such as Blood and Truth, Borderlands 2 VR, $20. I mean, these are steep discounts, Roots, on some of the best VR games I've ever played.
Yeah, these are games you're going to want to play on your PlayStation 5 as well. And good titles, good prices. If you haven't played them already, definitely worth picking up.
Yeah, I can honestly say, outside of Arizona Sunshine, everything I just mentioned is a must-own title for PlayStation VR, and every title that I mentioned is at the very least 50% off. So big discounts.
Yeah, it's huge.
Epic Game Store giving away 2 games this week. Next Up Hero and Tacoma, neither of which I'm familiar with, but both of which I can afford because free is free, right?
Yeah, you never know what you're going to want to stream sometime. Oh, wait, that's me. That's why I'm picking up a lot of these games. It's like a free game, a flat game, and like I'm going to play through some stuff, dude.
Notably, also on the Epic Game Store, their summer sale is in full effect. Many of the VR games that they offer are on steep discounts, and the coupons that we collected from the last Epic Game sale still are in effect today. So you can get an additional $10 off of any game that you pick, which brings games like Trover Saves the Universe down to less than $10. Go get it.
No brainer.
And Tetris Effect.
Yeah, dude, no brainer. Tetris Effect, Jim Hall, go get it today.
All right, so that's the bell that tells me I got to get the hell off of here. But the last installment of Free Stuff and Killer Deals, as always, the Viveport report at Roots again. Another week, more great games added to Viveport. I think it's been every week for a month now. They've had more than one good game every week added into it. This week, Into the Radius and Paper Beast. Another 2 great, highly touted VR games. 2 games that were just released, available on Viveport Infinity to play.
Yeah, and especially Paper Beast is one of those games that, like, even Gerillo, he's like, is it worth it or not? Well, try it on Viveport Infinity, and if you like it, buy it, That's the thing, is because it's on Infinity doesn't mean it's going to be there forever. They do switch things out. So if it's a game you do like, there is an incentive to try it and then buy it from another platform or even this one.
A couple of quick notes on Paper Beast. One, the PC version does differ from the PlayStation VR version. There are features and things updated that weren't there before, and we covered that a week or 2 ago on this show. So go back there and check it out if you're interested in what those features are. Also, with Paper Beast, we speculated when we were talking about it before that perhaps the $30 price tag on PSVR store had some Sony tax going on, and that turns out to absolutely be the case, as this game has now launched on the PC for $20.
Well, $20 is definitely, I mean, I've only played that demo, but I'd say $20 seems to be well worth it, right?
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely. And again, with Into the Radius, please tune into the Monday show tomorrow. 3 copies, courtesy of our friend Scion, going to be given away for free. So if you don't have Viveport and you want to play Into the Radius, just tune into the Monday show tomorrow. And once again, guys, help us to spread the word about this giveaway. Let's get some people in the chat. Let's get some people in the comments. Let's spread the VR love.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Who doesn't love free, right?
Exactly. All right, and with that, that brings us to our last reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support our channel. And of course, if you're new to the channel, the best way, easiest way to support our channel is, of course, by subscribing and clicking that notification bell to stay up with all of our content. Of course, as we've mentioned a couple of times already, you can join our Discord by clicking the invitation in the description below. You can join our community and join the conversation. And then, of course, for those of you, the hardcores out there, our ride or dies. If you guys want to do something more to help our channel expand and grow, you can consider supporting us on Patreon. Whereas for as little as $3 per month, you can gain access to our weekly show notes as well as bonus content in the form of the Money Show. And I think it's about that time, Roots. It's about time to shoot another Money Show, isn't it?
Absolutely. And just as a finisher on Paper Beast, Mepper says he just finished Paper Beast. It's definitely worth the $20 admission to the price of admission. So there you go. You got it from Mepper, and I trust his opinion.
Well, there you go. Awesome. I'm definitely going to check it out now that it's on Viveport. The demo was cool enough to pique my interest.
Yep.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I got to get to work, and we'd like to thank you once again for watching. And for Roots, I'm Wes. We will see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.